Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have you take your seats so we can get the show on the road? All right, let me try this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's try again, y'all. Let's try again. We're giving out $1,000,000 tonight. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. My name is CJ Bell. I have the pleasure of serving as a director for the Division of Small Business. And welcome to Edge 2.0 award ceremony, right? We are giving out historic numbers. We are giving out, quite frankly, the most money we've ever given out in one cycle, right? So a round of applause to Governor Meyer for making sure that allocation happened. There's a few people I gotta thank, so bear with me, right? First, I want to shout out to UD and their staff. You know, one thing we were very passionate about was making sure that entrepreneurs and startups alike felt the presence of a high quality pitch competition, right? We not only elevated the venue that we're doing it in, we opened this up to the public and had over 200 people come see you all pitch for your right at the Edge winning prize. So I want to give a round of applause to UD staff for making this accommodation for us. Want to shout out my deputy director, Jamie Watt. She has been with me since the iterations of Edge 2.0, and quite frankly, couldn't have did it without her, because I am all over the place. So a round of applause to you. To my business finance team and to my RBMs, Joe, Anastasia, Gemini, just wave your hands for a second. I'm going to be honest with you all. You are the reason why Edge 2.0 exists. You are the reason why Edge 2.0 was executed. I can't thank you enough for the time you took to help finalists get ready. I can't thank you enough for going through, 179 applications this cycle, right? That's not easy, right? And that's kind of, it's tough work, but it's work that needs to happen, right? We need to ensure that startups here in Delaware not only have a chance to win funding, but to scale, right? We want to make sure companies here are not just one-off prize, but able to become the next Insight of the state of Delaware, right? To be able to hire 100+ employees at a living wage. I want to be clear with that, right? We are looking at high-paid, living wage jobs. So I want to give a shout out there. And last but certainly not least, I want to give a shout out to Amanda, our events manager. This doesn't happen without you, so kudos to you of putting off an amazing job of getting us started. All right, so some fun stuff, right? As I mentioned, 179 applicants, right? You see on your agenda we have 7 awardees. Our goal was to award the best of the best, and team, I think we did just that. I do. I like to say you have a better chance of getting into an Ivy League school than you have of winning Edge, and I think the numbers kind of tell itself. So with that, right, I do want to talk a little bit about what has stayed the same and what has changed, right? And any time you are creating something or making something to another level, it started with a really good foundation. So I do want to shout out my predecessor, Deputy Secretary Regina Mitchell, for putting this together, right? We wouldn't be here without her and her leadership, so I do want to shout her out. So let's talk about Edge 2.0, right? What is staying the same? Can we have the slides come up for a second? All right, so what is staying the same with Edge, right? We have the same tracks, right? Entrepreneur and STEM, those are not changing. The years of operations for your business is not changing, right? As well as the 3-to-1 funding match. It is great to get grant funding, but we are very keen that this is OPM. This is other people's money, right? This is taxpayer dollars. You don't want us investing in a company that has no success of a track record, has no, prior investment, and most importantly, it doesn't have their own skin in the game, right? You want us to be giving money to companies that have a high chance of scaling, have a high chance of performing, and most importantly, have put their own skin in the game, right? You can't ask us to do something that you're not willing to do yourselves. And lastly, we are funding companies that want to be in the state of Delaware. If you are in Virginia, if you are in PA, as much as I might love you in the neighboring states, our funding is strictly for companies that are looking to grow and scale in the state of Delaware. Can we go to the next slide? So what's changed, right? There are some very key things that have changed. No longer the days where you get your funding and you do your compliance and that's pretty much it. Whether you are getting an award today, everybody is receiving in-kind services. And what do I mean by in-kind services? Everybody's gonna get a scoping services assessment, right? What your company is doing really good will show up in green. What your company is not doing well and needs to pivot will show up in red. And what we've done is paid for those services ahead of time. So let's say CJ's Barbershop, right? CJ's Barbershop is doing decent, but their accounting sucks, right? So we will put you in touch with a verified service provider, CPA firm, or the like, and make sure we pay for that ahead of time, right? So you have a chance to understand your numbers, get better with your books, and you can continue on with that service provider if you want, or you make a pivot, right? That's a key thing that has never been a part of Edge before. Whether you walk away with funding today or not, you're walking away with a better chance of understanding your company, understanding what you need to do, and most importantly, having a chance to fight another day, right? One other thing we've done that was pretty unique, no set number of winners. In the years past, we usually had 5 per category. As you can see, we do not have 10 up there, right? We wanted to award the best of the best. We wanted to make sure that this was driven not by the number that you could get, not by the amount of funding that you see on the screen, but by the companies and the projects that they have going forward, right? We are doing project-based funding, not, hey, we can get 100K, let me go apply for 100K. Those days are done, and those days are not coming back. Another thing we did, right, we got into the 21st century. We started our online applications. I know it's something that has been a challenge, right, with scanning and, you know, all the good things, but we wanted to make it accessible, right? And we have some more things to do, but we took a big leap, took a big milestone, and we are looking forward to translating that in the spring. We did an additional webinar to walk people through the application, right? Hey, here's not just highlighting the changes, but here's what you apply. Here's what you need to do, X, Y, and Z. And lastly, we increased the eligibility. Before it was 10 full-time employees, now it's 15, right? And we thought that was key because there were some really good companies that were just missing the mark, right? This fund is not gonna help everybody, but there are a lot of good companies that was missing the mark. So I'm happy to see those changes going forward and look forward to Edge 2.0, 3.0, or whatever else Governor Matt Meyer comes up with, right? You know, in terms of how we continue to scale. We want to be the innovation hub of the Mid-Atlantic, and I think Edge 2.0 is putting us on the right path. All right, so you ready? You ready to hear from it's a man that doesn't need an introduction. He's an entrepreneur. He is a businessman. He's a father. But most importantly, he is a man that gets things done, right? So without further ado, I want to introduce Governor Matt Meyer.
Appreciate it. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to see everyone tonight. First of all, can we give it up for CJ, Jamie, the whole team at the Division of Small Business. In fact, why don't you stand up if you're in the Division of Small Business? Let's give them a round of applause. Everyone at the division, they work very hard. And it's so important to our state, as I'm going to talk about in a moment. There are also some people here from the Delaware Prosperity Partnership. Noah, we get up? Is it just Noah? Just Noah? We have others, Linda Parkowski, Bo Provine. I'm not going to go through everyone's name. A lot of people who work very hard to make sure that there's not just economic vibrancy in our state, but that someone with a big dream maybe doesn't have the capital, but it has great ideas or knows how to execute on ideas and really create jobs for Delawareans, working very hard to make sure that can happen. So I just wanted to recognize each of you in the tremendous work you do every single day. Creative at times, difficult work. I just wanted to say 3 quick things, tell you 3 quick stories about our state, about me, and about our country right now that will lead you to understand a little bit of what I'm doing here and why I believe so strongly in this EDGE program. Delaware, growing up here, all my friends' parents, pretty much all my friends' parents, either worked for Daddy Doopy, which is what we call the DuPont Corporation, or they worked for like companies that serve the DuPont company, accountants, lawyers, doctors, whatever it may be. And I always thought of DuPont as this just like huge company that had been there forever. And I didn't think of Delaware as a state of innovation. But what's incredible is that DuPont is one of the most extraordinary innovation stories in the history of our country. A French immigrant comes here over 2 centuries ago with a crazy idea that he can do gunpowder better domestically in the US, better than any other company. He looked and found the Brandywine River and thought that was a perfect place to start a company. And just with singular vision and a relentless spirit, built a company that then grew to be the largest company in the world right here in Delaware. The largest company in the world right here in Delaware. So strong and so powerful that now, almost 100 years after it became the largest company in the world, our community is still benefiting from that largesse through various foundations and things like that. So when I think about my time as governor, I often think, how do we do that again, right? What can we do to do that? We think a lot about how we attract large companies here, which is important. How do we make sure Delaware is an attractive place to do business for a mid-sized company that's looking to grow, maybe in Philly, maybe New York companies that want to move. But even better, how do we start and grow the next big thing right here? I have some personal experience with that. Out of college, I got some job offers. I was studying computer science and had an opportunity to go work for Oracle Computers. Getting a job offer from Oracle Computers when I was graduating from college was a little like getting a job these days from, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, right? It was like the cool thing. I studied software development and I had an opportunity. I didn't want to do that. I had this idea that we could start a sandal company making footwear from used tires. And I got the gift of a $10,000 competitive grant. And I went, to my parents' chagrin, I'm like, I'm going to go off and start a company. And for a couple years, we worked with less than 5 employees trying to sell sandals. And then something called Amazon started to sell books out of a garage. And we realized we too could start to sell our sandals online. And within about a year, we had 30 employees. We were on CNN, we were on Al Jazeera, we were on global television selling footwear, using the latest technology to market our footwear, stuff today that is kind of standard. But from that, I saw the tremendous power that business could have in transforming communities. That it's the most magical thing when you have an idea in your head that nobody knows or understands, and you're able to execute that and put that in practice and do it in a way that truly changes people's lives. In fact, I think, often we don't think of it this way, but starting a business like so many of you are doing who are here really changes the world in ways that few other things can. It creates opportunities for families to earn a living, to pay for their kids' education, their clothes, their shelter, maybe even their homes. But without your innovation, without your sense of risk. I remember waking up one Wednesday morning, payroll was on Friday, and I did not have the money. We had about 20 employees at the time. And you know what that feels like? I remember sitting there. My friends who graduated from college, they had jobs. They just went, they went 4:35. It was time to check out. They they knew what time happy hour was, right? And I made a different choice where I couldn't do that, where I had to make sure I was responsible for this thing. So in addition to thinking that, hey, somewhere in this room might be the entrepreneur who creates the next DuPont, I just wanted to pause and say thank you. It takes a certain courage to do what you're doing, a certain fortitude. I know some family members are here, some spouses and some kids, and thank you as well. It's not always easy to be supportive of mom or dad when they really go out on a limb and take a risk to do something like this. The third thing I wanted to talk about is just the world as I see it today. I think it was about a week and a half ago that I declared a state of, 2 weeks ago, I declared a state of emergency in our state. We were staring down a situation where the first time in the 86-year history of the SNAP Emergency Food Program, the federal government was saying that within days, they were not going to provide the program. And we were starting to hear an increasing drumbeat of individuals and families that literally did not have food. And the incredible thing is that the same day I declared a state of emergency and told Delaware that we would deliver, we would make sure that your SNAP cards were loaded. I wasn't even sure how, but by hook or by, maybe I shouldn't say this, by hook or by, just by hook, right? No other way. But we were going to make sure that money was loaded on the cards. The same exact day, NVIDIA passed $5 trillion in market capitalization, the first American company ever to exceed $5 trillion in market cap. And that night I went home to Laura, my wife. I said, are we a really rich country that is making multiple trillion dollars? Like, it's hard for me. I have trouble imagining how much $1 million is, $1 trillion. Are we a really rich country, or are we a really poor country that can't feed its people? And when I think about how do we get out of this, where working people are being squeezed, and I think you're seeing it not just in our economy, but you're seeing it in our politics, that working families are being squeezed and feel like they can't afford basic things in their life. What's our way out long term? What's our way out? And I think it's not the total solution, but one key way for us to get out of this is to make sure we're investing in small and startup companies that are hiring local people, that have commitment and roots in the community. And so we're hoping that through advancing this EDGE program created by my predecessor, Governor Carney, we're hoping that by reinvesting it and looking at how we make it larger and more supportive than ever, we're doing our part to bridge the gap in a crazy country we live right now that's creating trillion-dollar companies, the stock market's hitting record highs, but so many American families and so many Delaware families are struggling to get by. None of this matters. None of CJ and Jamie, who are both entrepreneurs in their own right, and business owners are in their own right, like many at the Division of Small Business, none of this happens. None of their tremendous work is going to bear fruit unless we have you, the entrepreneurs, willing to take the risk. 14 years ago, I came back to Delaware. I went and I spent 12 months as a U.S. diplomat in Iraq, and I came back home. I worked briefly for the governor at the time on this very issue, on innovation and entrepreneurship. How do we stimulate and create an innovation ecosystem in Delaware? That's right. If you want to know the deep, dark, hidden secrets, you can talk to Joe and Patty, who worked with me way back when. I lost my thought thinking about you guys, but anyway, yeah, I came back home and to do this, and anyway, it's what you're doing is extremely important to Delaware. It's extremely important to our future, and just have a backbone and run through those hardest times. If you can do that, just know you're not just doing it for you and your family. You're not just doing it for your company, but it's really something that benefits all of us. It's not on the schedule, and CJ did not give me permission to do this, but one of my good friends is here who's been an advocate for people who often don't have a voice in the political spaces, and for kind of the little guy who gets stomped out too often in a political world where people are giving hundreds of thousands of dollars in contributions or this or that. Representative Wilson Anton is someone who's going to speak up for those who don't have a chance to speak for themselves. And she's here tonight, and I wanted to give her a few minutes to speak. So please welcome Representative Wilson Anton.
Good evening. Like many of you, I am also an entrepreneur and I'm a state representative, and so I have to be ready to pivot, right, and be ready to do something new unexpectedly. So if I'd known the governor would invite me up here, I would have worn more business professional shoes. But I just want to quickly just congratulate each and every one of the awardees for winning this award. I also want to thank everyone who played a part in putting this together. I am a state representative. I represent about 25,000 people here in the state of Delaware, many of them entrepreneurs. And this year was a big year for our district, the 26th district, where one of our small business owners went from a small brick and mortar to a larger brick and mortar. It's actually sit-down restaurant if you're looking for soul food in the area. And just in the few weeks that that business has been open in its new location, I've seen hiring postings. I've seen friends of mine and from across the state who have said, wait, where's that plate from? Where can I go to get some soul food and sit down and have a nice date night, etc.? And it's just one example of the amazing work that each and every one of you do for our state. So I'm really grateful to each of you. The governor knows a couple years ago I started doing stand-up comedy, and just about a year ago I opened my first LLC, and it's not easy. It's not an easy job, and like he said, it takes a lot of courage and it takes commitment. And so I really respect every one of you that's here in this room that's put that effort in, that's looking to help to grow our state's economy. And I want to thank the governor again for giving me the opportunity to address you all. So I won't keep you much longer, but thank you so much and congratulations again.
All right, y'all. So the next people that I'm about to, shout out and give some kudos to, make sure y'all clap really, really loud, right? I'm gonna give you a hint. These people are the ones that decided your funding, okay? So when I say their names, make sure you clap really, really hard. So I first want to acknowledge the judges. For a lot of our judges have done EDGE in the past, right? And we made some significant changes, right? Even threw in a bonus round of our Race to 14 Million SSBCI funding, right? And you all took that head on. You didn't, I didn't hear a lot of chatter about, hey, CJ, what the hell are you doing? Like, it worked out, right? So I first want to acknowledge you all to say thank you for being open to the change, and thank you for taking a whole day out, right? It's a long day. It usually goes from 9 to about 3, 4 p.m., and we had some tough decisions to make. So I just want to read the names. If you could wave your hand, and then we'll do a nice, really, again, we all on the same page, right? Really, really loud round of applause, right? James Williams with the City of Wilmington, Mike Bowman with SBDC, Linda Parkowski with Kent Economic Partnership, Ayana Khan Flowers with Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce, Bill Provine with the Innovation Space, Troy Wilford with UD Horn Entrepreneurship, Ken Briscoe with A6 Media, Noah Olson with Delaware Prosperity Partnership, and Dora Cheatham with Artinium. If we could give a round of applause for our judges. There we go. There we go. I know that's an awardee right there. All right, Gov, you ready for the fun part? Ready for the fun part? You ready to cash some checks? All right, come on the stage with me, Governor Meyer, if you could. And if I could ask my Deputy Director, Jamie Watts, to come up as we read off and highlight our awardees today.
Don't mind me, I tripped on the way in, so my ankle hurts a little bit right now. First and foremost, thank you so much, CJ. Thank you, Governor Meyer, for being here today. I want to say something that I said at the last EDGE award ceremony in the fall, last spring. And that is that it's an honor to not only be here, but also to announce the winners. And I say that it's an honor to announce the winners because we're not just handing out money today. What we're doing is we're investing. We're investing in small business, we're investing in people, and we're investing in your ideas and your dreams. This is not just, here's a check. This is a deliberate investment in what it is that you are doing. And so when we're investing in you, we're investing in your company, but we're investing in the people who pursue those dreams, the people who create something to want to make things better, and the people who create jobs and opportunities. And then when we invest in you, that means that we're investing in families. I see the kids that are here today. We're not just investing in the business, we're investing in your family. We're investing in communities, and we're ultimately investing in Delaware. And so it truly is an honor to be able to be a part of this program, to work with the staff that puts on such an amazing program, and to also be able to call out your individual names. Before I announce each winner, I want to share a couple of logistical items for all the recipients. First, what we're going to do is we're going to play a video. You're going to recognize this video from what Allison took of you at your pitch day. And then after the video, please make your way to the stage from these stairs. We ask that only the owners for this part come up onto the stage. And I'm going to share a little bit about your organization, and you're going to be presented with this nice big check that you're going to see here with the governor and with Director Bell. Then you'll be presented with your award, and then we ask you to please find your seats. After all the awards have been presented, please, right out there in the open lobby area, please find Allison. Allison, can you wave your hand for me? Perfect. Allison is going to be taking photos as a group of all the awardees, but then also individually of you and your company, your family, and friends. We want to make sure that we get that before you leave, so please don't dart out of here at the moment the ceremony is over. We want to make sure that we get those photos that you're going to want to share on your social media as well. All right, so who's ready? All right, you guys did a really good job of it last time. Who's ready? Thank you. All right, perfect. So we're going to begin with the winners of the entrepreneur category. And so Kevin, can you please play the first video?
Hi, my name is Ashley D. Michelle, and I am the owner of Juniper Modern Market. It's going to be opening in Milton, Delaware in February of 2026. It is a grab-and-go cafe and gourmet local marketplace. It's helped me learn about myself. It's helped me learn more about my business and more about my area than I ever could have known before. The coach who helped me, Joe, he was awesome. So he was very good at guiding this process.
Juniper Modern Market. We are pleased to award Juniper Modern Market with $125,000. Juniper is going to use their EDGE award to purchase commercial grade equipment systems, including coolers, ovens, grab-and-go hot equipment, a dishwasher, juicer, espresso machine, and extra ovens. Perfect. Congratulations, Juniper Modern Market of Milton, Delaware. Can you please play the next video?
I am an independent agronomic company. We use advanced technologies such as drones, sensors, and data analytics to assess crop health, pest infestation, soil conditions, and other key factors. We make early pest detection, soil health monitoring, an easier and more efficient process for our farmers.
All right, we are pleased to award Insight Ag Scouting with $75,000. Insight will use the EDGE grant funding to support their growth and expansion plans through the purchase of soil sampling and transportation equipment. Congratulations to Insight Ag Scouting of Wyoming, Delaware.
My name is Dr. Brown, and this is Dr. Felicia Connor. We are neuropsychologists and rehab psychologists.
Yes.
We are co-owners of NFM Brain Connections, which is a neuropsychological practice where we do neuropsychological testing as well as cognitive coaching for individuals who have had brain injuries, have dementia, or are going through perimenopause or menopause.
So little known fact that we didn't put in that video, NFN Brain Connections, our next awardee, was also the highest scoring organization from all of the entire EDGE competition. So let's give them a round of applause. And as CJ mentioned earlier, this was not just you're competing for one one delineation of money. And so NFF Brain Connections is getting $200,000. Their EDGE funding will be used to support office expansion needs, including establishing a larger 1,200 square foot location in Dover, the purchase of technology infrastructure, and development on an online hub for clients and families and website upgrades. Congratulations again to NFN Brain Connections of Dover, Delaware. We are really excited. So those were our 3 entrepreneur winners, and we're going to be moving on to our STEM category. But I also wanted to just mention that one of the things that we are very proud of is the fact that we service all of Delaware. And so you're going to notice that we are announcing the locations of these facilities because we have businesses in all 3 counties getting investments this year with the EDGE program, and that's an amazing thing. So for the STEM category, our first winner is Crystron Technologies.
Okay, we're representing Crystron Technologies. We're a lithium-ion battery material company based out of Delaware, and we are aiming to achieve energy independence for us through advanced battery materials. That's what we're developing.
So in terms of the value proposition for our technology is that we have come up with a technology that is very, very innovative. It's going to help us with reduction of both CapEx and OpEx by a pretty large amount, as well as it's going to be the cleanest technology available in the battery space.
All right. We are pleased to award Crystron Technologies with $162,500. The company will use the EDGE funding to take its prototype lithium batteries to market by enhancing production capacity, building a larger prototype, and expanding its testing infrastructure. Please join me in congratulating Crystron Technologies of Wilmington, Delaware. Our next awardee is Kipos Tech.
Kipos Tech is a clean tech and a climate tech company. We are building hardware software solutions to protect poultry. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kipos Tech. Kipos Tech was founded by me and Raj Singh, my co-founder and CTO. The process behind EDGE becoming a finalist has been nothing but positive. This state really comes and helps you hands-on.
So we are pleased to award the highest dollar amount of any of the companies today from the EDGE competition. We're pleased to award Kipos Tech with $300,000. Kipos Tech is using their EDGE funding to take its patent-pending Kipos Pro machine from pilot to production, supporting manufacturing setup, on-farm validation, and safety certification. Congratulations to Kipos Tech of Newark, Delaware. All right. Our next awardee is Lectrolist.
I am the president and co-founder of Lectrolist. We're a company that specializes in the conversion of carbon dioxide into more useful chemical products. And in particular, we're focusing in on making acetate from carbon dioxide, which then gets fed into precision fermentation for protein production. So my experience with the big competition has been very positive. I enjoy these kind of diligence in the open kind of events, an opportunity for the public to see what we're essentially asking the government to fund. In this case, we're asking them to fund the ability for us to continue to scale so that way we can start making our electrochemical systems more commercially viable and also start getting into the hands of downstream customers.
We are pleased to award Lectrolist with $162,500. Lectrolist will use its EDGE grant funds for equipment, materials, and testing to optimize its electrochemical stack systems for incorporation into new containerized systems, and for designing, building, and testing a new stack assembly system. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. Congratulations to Lecturalist of Wilmington, Delaware. And last but certainly not least is our last awardee, Prism Technologies.
Hi, I'm Martha Underwood, and I'm CEO and founder of Prism. It's the digital vault that automates the cash assets of the inheritance assets to beneficiaries from banks. Man, it's been amazing, the support that we receive from the small business office all the way up to getting here and the anticipation of doing the pitch. And now that it's over, it's been awesome. Overall, it's been a phenomenal experience.
We are pleased to award Prism Technologies with 2 awards tonight. Not only are they receiving $125,000 in EDGE funding, they are our SSBCI funding winner of $1 million. Prism is a fintech company that has built a transaction-enabled digital vault to help banks, credit unions, and wealth managers simplify and automate the inheritance process so assets transfer seamlessly. SSBCI and EDGE funds will be used to expand their team, complete technical integration of their platforms, and for marketing. Congratulations to Prism Technologies of Newark, Delaware. And if you could please stay, because you're going to get one more check with $1 million. Perfect. Congratulations. What an incredible group of entrepreneurs, of innovators, and of people. So let's give everyone one final round of applause. As Director Bell shared earlier, in addition to today's winners, all of the finalists will also receive the scoping services and ongoing supports, a new feature that we're proud to introduce this year, because it's not just about investing financially in these businesses, but it's also to provide the support to ensure that they have the success for the growth that they seek to achieve. Our next EDGE cycle is going to begin this spring, so be on the lookout for information on that, and we're really looking forward to seeing even more great ideas take shape. This concludes our award ceremony. I want to give one more shout out to the staff who are behind the scenes making this all happen, and especially a little bit of extra love to the regional business managers who coached everyone through their pitches. If we can give them a round of applause. Award recipients, please bring your awards to the giant EDGE letters in the open area so that way we can capture group and company photos. And thank you all for being with us today.